We're going into one of the roughest periods of humanity right now. And the problem is, from my perspective, is the dollar. And so if you understand the dollar, US dollar versus the loonie, it was created in 1913, but so was the tax department created in 1913. So what they're going to do, we have so much debt today, they're going to have to keep printing. But every time they do that, it creates more poverty. The system is failing. So we're going to have more homelessness, more unemployment, and the government has to print more money.
The baby boom generation had it really easy, and that's the problem. And so when it comes to real education, it's like, so the boomers have spent all their lives learning how to use their right hand, and now they know something is changing, but they can't change. So it's like saying, I'm going from my right hand, I'm going to have to learn how to eat with my left hand now. And so what happens is the brain gets kind of locked into a mode. And then you have to kind of relearn everything again, because learning is really physical. It's not just mental like they have in school.
If you look historically, what's happened today is the nominal debt to GDP is a correlation of M2, the volume of money, times the velocity of money. And the reason Yellen and Powell are scrambling is because they've expanded M2, so everybody thinks there's going to be inflation. But the velocity of money is plummeting. People are not spending. So they pump all this money in, prices go up. Meanwhile, the Asians are catching up now. The ports are finally open, so it is transitory inflation. But the problem is we're stacked with this massive debt, and all it's done is bump up the stock market and real estate market. The money has not gone into the economy. That's the sad part. So the rich get richer, but the poor and middle class are getting poorer. It is tragic what's happening today.
I just don't trust our government. And they're going to have to start printing pretty quickly. And the more they print, the less value, purchasing power the dollar has, or the loonie, or the yen, or the peso. So that kind of says it's not a bet for gold, silver, Bitcoin. It's a bet against our government.
I'm very optimistic on Bitcoin. I own Bitcoin. I'm going to buy more Bitcoin. I also have Ethereum. I have no Doge coins and all those other things. To me, that's different. That's a mania. And you see, China has not liked Bitcoin forever. In 2013, they said, don't buy Bitcoin. 2014, they said, don't buy Bitcoin. 2015, they said, don't buy Bitcoin. And 2016, I think they said, don't buy Ethereum. Mm-hmm. So when the press comes out and says the reason Bitcoin crashed is because China trashed it. Well, they've always trashed it. That's not the reason it's crashing. So there's three kinds of people in the world when it comes to money. There's an investor, a trader, and a speculator. I am an investor. So the moment I started buying Bitcoin, I wasn't a trader. A trader is somebody who's going to buy it and sell it. A trader, like in real estate, is kind of a flipper. They buy a house to flip it. That's what traders do. And a speculator is a gambler. And I would say most people who are chasing Doge coins and all this other stuff and Bitcoin, they're speculators. They're all kind of gamblers hoping it'll go up. That's not what I do. So I am an investor. I understand trading. That's what Andy Tanner and all those guys teach, is how you can make money going up and make money coming down. It makes no difference. So when Bitcoin crashed, I made more money. You see, and the guys who are losing money right now is because you're not a trader, you're a speculator. So don't say, oh, you hate Bitcoin. No, I think you're stupid. That's what I'm saying, but it doesn't mean I hate Bitcoin. Okay, so don't be a speculator, because those are gamblers out there. So in 1960 and 1980, my generation, the boomers, didn't like stocks, because everybody, at my time of when I was a kid, everybody said anybody invests in the stock market is a gambler. Now everybody's in the stock market. So how did that happen? Well, in 1974, they brought this thing called a 401k out. I won't touch that thing. I would not touch a 401k or an IRA. Why? Because I don't have to. You know, they tell you exactly, they tell you when to wear the mask and when to get a vaccine. They tell you what you can invest in a 401k and an IRA. So today you have my generation, the boomers, they're hanging on by a thread due to historical events coming in. So now the stock market is at an all-time high. It's nuts. And the reason it's all-time high is because our CEOs are borrowing money from the Treasury to repurchase their own stocks. So we don't have a real economy. We don't have a real stock market. And the US, the Fed is greatly in debt. The US is greatly in debt. What happened is in 1987, the stock market crashed. So Greenspan comes out. He's a Federal Reserve guy. Remember, the Federal Reserve is not American. It's not a government agency. So he came out, and what Greenspan put was what I call a PPT. It's the Plunge Protection Team, or also called the Greenspan put, or also what people say, don't fight the Fed. Basically, what Greenspan did is every time the stocks crashed, a Plunge Protection Team will protect you. So my generation, the boomers, are going, well, I don't have to worry because every time the market crashes, the Federal Reserve Bank and the Treasury will bail me out. So that's today we have our US corporations are zombie. 20% of US corporations are zombie corporations. It means they're broke, but they're being propped up by the Federal Reserve Bank and the government. That's communism. So anyway, stocks get protected. Gold is a good investment because the Fed, all the central banks in the world now own gold. So they're not going to let gold crash. So here's stocks. The government will make sure it doesn't crash. Gold will not crash. But crypto could. You know why? Because the Fed doesn't want it. Because the reason I like crypto, the reason I buy Bitcoin and Ethereum and all that stuff is I don't like the Fed. When I talk to most of the young guys, they don't like the Fed either. But the problem is, and this is why you've got to be smarter, is that the Fed wants to take this out. The European Central Bank, the ECB, wants to take it out. The Bank of Japan wants to take it out. The Bank of China wants to take it out. So that's why you crypto guys, you've got to be smarter today.